3AW is football.
You going to run for politics or not?
Oh, Neil, you and I have had this conversation.
Yeah, I
Are
know,
you
but
joking?
now you haven't got a job.
No, I'd rather be unemployed.
Yes, I'd agree with that. How do you feel? Now it's
I feel good. I feel relieved, and I've felt relieved since I announced what I was doing on the 3rd, and I'm very pleased for Gil and proud of him, and think he'll be fantastic for the game, and I know his passion for the game, and I'm really, really pleased for him now.
Do you regard him as a protege?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, he's a very talented individual. He was a talent when he arrived at the AFL. He's matured significantly. He's always been clever and passionate about the game, but he's grown in the role. But he's grown for a number of reasons. One is that you just grow through evolution over time with experience. He's worked with a wonderful board like I have and had the privilege of, a great management team, worked with all the clubs. He's not a protege. He's just someone who's grown significantly, and he will do a great job.
Do you think you will miss it?
Oh, for sure, Neil. I mean, I think it stands to reason. The sort of the adrenaline rush and the negotiations and the games and the passion. Of course, I'll miss it. And but you know, I'm really excited about what lies ahead, Neil. So I'm not in the sort of frame of mind of missing it to the point that I'll miss it and I'm regretful. I mean, I just know I'll miss it, but I'll keep going to the football.
What does lie ahead?
A few things on the go, Neil, which I'm not at a stage yet of deciding, but I've got some things before me, and the most important thing I need to do is to make sure I don't jump into anything, sit down with my wife, as I've done a couple of times, and work through some of the options before us, and we'll make a decision on what's best for our family and what I really want to do passionately and do effectively and make a contribution. And
will you have a holiday first?
yes, I will. I'll have a holiday that won't be in the newspaper, Neil, because no one cares whether I go away in footy season now. So that'll be different. But I'll have a break, but I'm looking forward to getting back into work, Neil. I like work.
But I know you obviously can't tell me what offers are on the table, but in a general sense, corporate world or other things?
Could be a bit of both, but certainly nothing in the public sphere. Don't want to do anything in the public sphere.
You don't want a public profile?
No. I mean, I've had a good run, Neil. I mean, I've done this role for nearly 11 years and 14 at the AFL and the PA before that. So that's a pretty good run, and I know that it comes with the job, and it's a very important part of the job to be in the public. But it's also important to make sure that when you've had a good run, I've been treated very kindly on balance, Neil, so I'm looking forward to retreating back into private life.
What are your passions? You said you talk about obviously your family, but what are your passions in a work sense? Because you do have, you've got independent businesses, haven't you? Or business involvement.
Yeah. Look, Neil, my first and second and third passion is my family, so that goes without saying. But the things I like, that I'm passionate about, are things that I can grow. I mean, I've always been someone that would look at something, and if I can make a contribution and see it grow and see the people within it develop, take on something that's challenging, I would never go into something, Neil, that's going along beautifully, because it's just not me. I'd rather take on something that's challenging, that I can make a difference, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But when you're involved in something that you can work through and impart some of your experience and some of your expertise, and you see people develop along the way, and then it works, it's a lot of fulfillment out of that, Neil. And sometimes it's not even about the financial reward; it's the actual process and the execution of seeing something that you've had a hand in, and it's working. And some of the best things that I've been involved in at the AFL have been when collectively we've worked on something over a long period of time and it's been challenging, and then it works. Just like Adelaide Oval, for example, that was a big challenge.
Could you see yourself being involved in community work as well?
Sure, I absolutely will be, because I've always had a deep sense of obligation to putting back into the community, and if the right thing comes along again, I would. I've done a couple of things that I've really been pleased with. I'm involved in a couple of things still. But absolutely, I think it's incumbent upon me to do that.
Because you don't need to work, do you?
Oh, crap, Neil. Of course you need to work.
Financially, I mean, you don't have to work.
Of course I do. I've got 4 children at school now.
Yeah, but you own half of Turak, and you've got where's your business, Venice or something? You've got all these business interests.
Neil, I've observed people that have stopped work that for whatever reason get sick.
Yeah, it's true.
And I love work. I love getting up and going to work, and I'm really excited about the next part that will involve work.
Hello, Kevin. Go ahead.
Well, good day, Neil and Andrew. Look, Andrew, congratulations, but for the last 10 years you've been saying you can't do anything about food prices at the grounds, and yet Gillen, in his first speech, says that's what he's going to do. How come you couldn't have done it for the last 10 years?
Well, we've tried, and I'm interested to read this morning. Stephen Goff's already put a knock on that about doing anything about food prices and justifying it because of the high cost of labour and other things.
Is that fair enough, or is it a rip-off here?
Neil, there's no doubt, and you've heard me say this before, there's no doubt that the costs that we control at the football, we've maintained affordability, but it's the external costs that do, from a supporter and a fan's perspective, have a huge impost. And they are legitimate. I mean, the car parking, for example, even at Etihad Stadium, food, all the beverages.
But is it unavoidable?
Ticketing charge.
Is it unavoidable, or are they ripping us off?
Well, there are some costs that seem exorbitant, Neil, and the sooner, if we can get hold of Etihad Stadium and own it, it would give us an opportunity to do something about those costs. Now, people have got the right, Neil, and I say this to Kevin, if you really want to make a protest about it, don't just take your own food to the football.
Well, that's all right, provided
don't purchase.
You don't buy it outside.
No, and you can take food into the football, Neil. And I heard a
Not
woman.
if it's Subway.
No, but I heard someone ringing yesterday who always takes food into the football on Talkback, and that is that's probably the strongest protest that people can make about exorbitant prices.
96900 693 13 13 32. If you'd like to speak to the Chief Executive of the AFL, Andrew Demetriou. Marley Williams playing for Collingwood, should he be?
Yes, he should. He's been through a court case and he has been found guilty, and then he's been given a bond now in the judgment that we've also been across. The judge talked about the fact that he's significantly changed his life and he's been working in the community and he's made real efforts to change his life. And the club has been fantastic in supporting him and helping him develop. And he's ready to play football now. And in fact, I'd argue that he needs to play football now. It's part of his changing of his behaviour, and he's becoming, to the best of his ability, a model citizen, and I wish him well.
Do you agree? There was some argument this week that the fans have not for a long time been quite so disengaged as they are with the AFL, that they're angry about prices, they're angry about the ticket pricing situation, variable pricing. Do you agree there is this sort of tension with the fans? With
a sector of it, of course there is, Neil. And there's always been, and there will be when you've got such a broad-based fan base. But Neil, there is a lot of sort of negative talking the game down, and I'm not in that camp. I've never been in the camp of talking the game down. The game is fantastic. The game is affordable, Neil. I did a presentation yesterday to our corporate partners and broadcast partners. In 2003, when I took over, the prices were $16.50 to get to the football. Till 2013, after 10 years, they were $20 to get into the football. Now, I'm not talking about reserve seats, but we've had $3.50 increase over 10 years. And kids under 15 now, it was $2.20 for 10 years, and now it's gone up to $5, but under 15. 2 adults go along, the 2 children get in for free. So we can talk ourselves into a lather about how negative the game is and that the game's being wrecked by roving malls. But you know what now? And the crowds are down. But I reckon at the end of this week's round, our crowds will be up on last year. We've had reserve seating for many, many years. People pay $60 to go to see a game at Geelong. The game is in great shape. I'm not in the habit of talking the game down. I'd rather be celebrating the great aspects of our game, and I took great joy out of being at the Anzac Day game last week and having people come up to me, people who are enjoying that spectacle, watching Port Adelaide play Geelong, watching Carlton come back against West Coast. I'm in the camp of talking up the game now.
3AW is football.